Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddie, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
Now, as I was saying before we were recording, this is the top 3 of all time. Brian said only topped by what?
Oh, the party mix version. So it's got pretzels, peanuts.
Erroneous.
It's in those
styrofoam balls.
I'm gonna have to go with Doug on this one.
Because I've tweeted at them and they sent me some free shit. Because if I wanted a bag of pretzels, I'd buy a bag of pretzels. That snack mix has 78% pretzels.
I won't disagree with there.
I don't want that many pretzels, though.
But you know what the problem is?
They had 5 of those little styrofoam balls. I remember as a kid, there's a bunch of them in there, and they weren't styrofoam balls. They're way much better.
But for the fat kid on here that can't just eat the portion size that it says on the box, I want the pretzel because it's supposed to be that.
Nobody does the portion size, bro.
I know, but I eat the whole dang box.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show my age here. Do y'all remember Doodad's snack mix?
Doodads? Why do I know that name?
There's none better. Has never been none better.
Doug, you and I are the closest to age, and I remember the name. I just don't remember exactly.
I'm also the old guy.
The old guy on the podcast. I'm going to search it up while we're talking here.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Doodads.
Yeah, Food Lion's got these. I don't know if they were BOGO or 2 for $5. I got them yesterday. I don't remember what to say it was.
I like the extra toasty ones.
We got one of those too. The wife likes those.
Doodads. DOO. Dads.
D-A-D-S.
Snack mix. Now that looks like it should be like a Raisin Bran, or not a Raisin Bran, but like a Bran cereal. Yeah.
Yep.
I try it.
Jay, what about you, man? What's your favorite cheese?
It had them little cheese tidbits in it. Oh my God.
I'm all original everything, man. Doesn't matter if it's cheese, it's sunflower seeds, whatever it is. I'm all original everything.
You're original sunflower seed, just straight raw dog in my mouth.
Just straight raw dog, man.
Okay, I can dig it.
Okay,
appreciate it.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not into all these crazy flavors.
I remember being a kid, man. When we first found out you could get sunflower seeds by a bucket, they were David's, of course. And then when you first got ranch and barbecue, and you went away from salt, you're like, dude, if you had the barbecue, they're the best thing ever. They weren't.
I was gonna say I've never been one to grab anything but the OG.
Again, I am old, so I remember when the only 2 flavors that changed were ranch and barbecue.
Yeah,
no doubt.
All right, welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast. As you can tell, it is a kitchen table format, and we got somebody new on here. We got Jay Lyons, right? That's how you pronounce your name?
Jay Lyons, yep.
Yeah, Jay Lyons, also known as He Fights Fire on TikTok and the Instagram, and where else? Where else are you at?
Actually, man, all I have is TikTok and Facebook.
Okay. I
have my Instagram account up, but it's not active really. But the only way I'm on is Facebook and TikTok, really.
Okay.
Nice.
I kind of just Facebook stalked him a lot. TikTok stalked him. I don't know if you guys seen his videos. He makes fun of Chicago Fire a lot of times.
I went and trolled him today. Ain't gonna lie. When you told me you had him lined up, I went and trolled him.
He reenacts a lot of those bits, and it's just caught my attention. And so I just kind of followed him. And me and Brian are fresh out of Safer in Raleigh, North Carolina. And that's when I saw him cross the aisle. We had a moment. We're like, hey, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. Are you? He's like, yeah. Hey, man. And we just kind of chit-chatted for a little bit. And here we are, like the day after Safer. We're recording our podcast. I was like, hey, I'm going to see what Jay's doing. See if he can come out here and hang out. And he is. And I appreciate it. So welcome. Matt's out fighting fire on the West Coast. Wildland fire.
Like literally fighting fire.
Literally.
And, what do you say? Like 450,000 acres or something?
Yeah, it's big.
Ridiculous.
Huge.
Where out west is he?
He's in southwest California.
Where did he say?
That's where he's from.
Yeah, Laguna Beach is where he's from.
Gotcha. Okay.
But he's deployed like Northern California, I think, on this one. And Freddie's pulling I think he said a 72. So
yeah,
that Joker has been hustling it. and his Motor City Medical. He put in our group chat that he's picking up customers and stuff. And so shout out to both of those guys who are hustling right now. I know we've missed them this week, but we're glad to have Mr. Lyons on tonight for sure.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Do we got any housekeeping? It's brought to you by Unkie Seasonings. Check us out at unkieseasoning.com, and also the Burn Box, the new box out for the month.
Yes, got mine 3 days ago, I think.
Got mine. It's got some cool stuff in it.
Yes, it does. So,
yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
No, we won't get into the Burn Box thing just yet.
Okay.
I was going to talk about one of the things in it, but that's okay.
All right. Well, let's see. This is all about you, Jay. We're just going to get to know you. And can you tell us a little bit?
People get to know you.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and, where you grew up at?
Yeah, so I'm in a small town in eastern North Carolina. It's called Tarboro. I'd say maybe 15 minutes away from Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm fairly young. A lot of people hear my age and they go berserk when they hear how young I am. I'm 24, about to turn 25 in December. Like I said, come from a little small town. I joined the volunteer fire department in my area when I was maybe 17 years old. I was still in high school. So that was back in 2017 when I joined. And I just wanted to do something productive. I had plans on going into the military, but that didn't fall through like I wanted it to. But I'm still very fortunate that I was able to join the volunteer fire department and, do something in my community, basically. Feel like I'm doing something productive with my life, basically.
What made you want to pursue the fire department?
Actually, I want to say the fire department landed in my lap. So the fire chief's daughter was actually my mom's best friend at the time. So, of course, she comes to me and was like, hey, you interested in joining the fire department? At that time, I was like, yeah, whatever, sound interesting. And then I found out all the cool shit that fireman does. I was like, yeah, I get to cut on cars. I get to bust doors open. I get to play with fire a little bit here and there. So why not? And
you get to break other people's stuff and play with it.
Yeah, man, I walked in.
I didn't realize you were so close to me.
I walked into the fire station one day and got an application, and I fell in love ever since.
Nice.
Can I ask a follow-up, Adam, to that real quick, if I can? So, in high school, was that one of your things? Like, were you in sports? Did you do things like that? I mean, or was that not your thing? Like you said, when it fell in your lap. I mean, what do you think that she brought that up to you?
Well, like I said, I was very athletic in high school. I played football, and I did want to do a little track and cross country. The only thing that my school provided was cross country. So I guess she saw that I was fairly fit, and that she knew that I had plans going into the military. So, I wanted to go the route of something positive, basically. And, of course, a small town, everyone knows everyone. So it was something that I could get into, and I'm pretty sure she knew that once I got into it, I wasn't going to let it go. And she was right.
I love it.
Yeah, sick. What are some challenges you have faced in the fire department, or what's been the most rewarding? Let's go with that. What's been the most rewarding part of being in the fire department for you?
The most rewarding part for me is being able, and it doesn't happen all the time, but being able to make a stop on the fire, and that homeowner is really gracious about how you were able to be responding as fast as you were, being on your game, basically. Stopping the fire before it turned down their whole entire life, and seeing that I was able to help out during the worst time of their life. That's something that you can't get anywhere else.
I love it. Do you have people, again, I'm sorry, Adam, I got another follow-up to that. I told him, I was like, I'm going to shut up tonight, and I'm not doing a good job. I'm not doing a good job of that. So, people your age, we talk about retention in the volunteer fire service. Other folks, you may not know this, but other folks on the podcast do. I served several years as the county fire marshal, and I watched some volunteer fire departments that had to merge, and I've also seen some very successful fire departments. And I think that whether you're talking about a career department or a volunteer department, it does not matter. It's a retention problem that the fire service is facing right now. So as you look around your department, your volunteer department right now, are you surrounded by people that are like-minded like you and your age? Or are you finding yourself asking the question that the chief's daughter asked of you? Are you going out and finding people to serve beside you?
And you know what? That's actually crazy that you asked that, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to, I wouldn't say much going out and looking for guys that are like me, but I'm trying to build my weakest link. And I hate to say it like that, but of course, you only as strong as your weakest link. So my thing is, of course, weld that damn link back together and you all be strong. So my thing is, my department, they're not as driven, or some guys are not as driven as I am, and that's okay. But I try my best to uplift everyone when it comes to knowledge. Training is a big thing to me. Even my upper command staff, I find myself sometimes having to tell those guys, like, hey, like, let's get it together. Let's pull it together. We're not here to just talk. We're here to actually train to do better.
And I will tell you, whether you're paid or volunteer, that's a commonality, right? Like that guy that's been there 5-6 years gets it, has been there long enough to get it. I think Doug and Adam would agree with that. And, the folks who are closer to retirement or have been there 20 some years, it's very hard for them to be motivated. And that's not okay. I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying, but that's what happens as you're traveling on that muddy field. You start digging ruts, and the only difference between a rut and a grave is the depth of the hole, right? And so what you're trying to do is what everyone like us has done in the past, where you're at that age, you're just trying to keep them out of that grave, right? You're pulling them along and you're edging them along, and that's awesome. So what are some of the things that you do to help them with that, do you think?
Man, I volunteer when it comes to training. Anytime we have training nights, I don't even ask anymore. I used to find myself always asking the fire chief, hey, can I step in and take care of training? Or can I do this? Can I show the guys that? Can I do this? And I would always get shot down, unfortunately. So at one point in time, I'm just like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to do it. I'll wait until everyone gets there, and I would go ahead and get training started before he would get there and try to take over. By the time he gets there, he already sees something in play. He just let me go with it. So I had to find myself with just not really stepping over his toes, but, it's like, hey, I got to take matter in my own hands at some point in time so I can go ahead and get this thing back on the roll and go ahead and start doing what we're here to do.
So how did he respond to that?
Yeah.
At least over time.
He's a laid back guy. He's the type that, unfortunately, he's a little old school, so he doesn't like any change. But when he see that things are going kind of smoothly, he just let me go with it, and I'm really fortunate that he actually allows that, because if not, then I hate to say it, but I feel like we're just getting driven into the ground. And, I'll say it actually, but I hate to, but I feel like our training is just not where it's supposed to be right now. And I'm doing my best to try to bring it back to where it's supposed to be.
I think if anybody said that they were okay with where their department's training is, they need to check themselves, because everybody's training can be better.
Absolutely.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with that statement at all.
Do you get a lot of participation, percentage-wise, for your house on training nights? I mean, I did volunteering, but I did it in a paid city. So when I trained, I was there. I was the one volunteer on a truck of 4 guys, doing what the big boys did.
Right.
So I've never been from a truly volunteer house.
So normally what I would do is, just to be sure that I have a good amount of guys on the ground, I would send out text messages like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. I need you at the fire department at a certain time. We meet at a certain time, but I have those guys show up probably 30 minutes or 15 minutes prior to that. So therefore we can go ahead and get the ball rolling and get the game plan going of what we're going to be doing that night. So we will get guys to train, but I have to pull it out of them. It's not something that they voluntarily want to do. It's something that I wouldn't say force them to do, but I have to motivate them to get to that point.
And that can be hard, especially on the volunteer level. You're busy working all day, trying to come home, but you're trying to spend the rest of the night.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely understand it that the guys got lives outside of the fire department. They have their own full-time jobs and they have their families and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, you knew what you were signing up for when you put your name on that paper. So training is not something that we could just pass up and just say we're not going to do it today.
I took a quote from one of. I was just going to say I took a quote from one of my kids' baseball coaches, really, and applied it in the firehouse one day. One of the moms came up and was like, "Well, it's just really hot out there," and he said, "It's hot for the other team too. It's hot for the other team. We got no excuse, right?" Like, so I think that that's the difference when it comes down to it. And I'm sure you've worked hard at your job wherever you're at during the day as well. So, like you said, when it's time to train, it's not like that's. I mean, it's a scheduled training night, right? Like, it's not like the people didn't know that it wasn't coming. And so the expectation is that when you show up to work, that's what's gonna happen. So whether you're career or volunteer, just like Doug, when Doug shows up to work or Adam shows up to work, there's an expectation that training will most likely occur. Unless something happens, some form of training will occur that day. So same thing, man. I think that speaks volumes. Somebody's got to take the bull by the horns and get it started. So that's not a bad thing at all.
Man, do you got any questions?
I mean, y'all been just yakking.
Now you know how I feel.
So does Tarboro?
Hey, listen, man, I love the talk. So just bring it on, man.
So does Brian.
I do, and I got to learn to shut up.
The city of Tarboro has its own fire department, or are you Rocky Mountain Fire Department?
No, so yeah, Tarboro is a municipality, and they're a town paid department, career staff, and they had 9 volunteer departments in the county surrounded. And then, of course, it goes out into Rocky Mount, which is Nash, which is a neighboring county.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize you were. I mean, that we're like 2 hours, but I didn't realize you were that close to me.
You're in one of the 9 volunteers, just for clarity, for those who did not pick up on that earlier. Okay.
Yep. So I started out in Tarboro as actually paid on call. You get paid for every call that you responded to. I was with that department for 3.5 years. And then I went out into the county to one of those volunteer departments. And I've been there since maybe 2020. Worked my way up the ranks, and I'm just here now just trying to preach training.
Fantastic. So what are your goals for the future? Personally and the job itself. Where do you plan to see yourself in 5 years? The classic question.
So what I'm trying to do now is, I even talked to my fire chief where I hold a lieutenant rank right now, and I talked to him. I said, "Hey man, I don't even care if I take a demotion. I will take that demotion within the department if you will make me the training officer," which specifically says that I will cover training. Training will be under my belt. I will take the fall for it every single week. And what I want is, and that's not just for my department, I want it for every department, that anytime the bell rings, everybody already know their assignments. By the time that parking brake is pulled on the scene, guys jumping off with tools in their hands, they're ready to go to work, and they don't have to hustle around and try to figure out where command is, what do I need to do, what needs to be done, and all that type of stuff. If you see a window on the second floor, you already know you need to grab a letter and start VESing and stuff like that. I want to get the guys to the mindset of time is money, basically, So I want everybody to have that aggressive mindset and to be a well-rounded department, no weak links.
Yeah, aggression is a big word. It's control chaos in a sense. I mean, it's aggressive, but it's not ignorant. It's not stupid. It's smart aggression. So, and as a guy who can ride the front seat, the right seat, whatever you call it, a guy behind me that, like you were just talking about, that I don't have to tell him on a cookie cutter single family dwelling house fire. I don't have to tell them what to do immediately upon getting off the rig. That's huge for me because it's just something I don't have to worry about. I got my lap to make. I got decisions to make. I got to relay information. Like, I don't need to tell you, hey man, pull a line to the front door. That should be common sense for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I just got
Unkie, you were saying something.
Oh, you're fine. Let's got my little notes beside. So, man, what do you like to do in your free time? When you're not working.
So my daughter, I actually,
there you go.
Yeah. So I have 2 beautiful little girls. One is about to turn 3 next month. The other one's about to turn 1 next month. Actually, one of them, her birthday is actually on 9/11. So that's bittersweet day for me, of course.
Yeah. Wow.
And I've been into cars ever since I was little. And she grew up. I got her little Power Wheels, and I customized it. We actually take it to car shows, and she's won quite a few car shows at that. So
That's awesome.
I love it.
when I'm not at the firehouse, man, I'm at car shows and stuff.
That's awesome.
What kind of car do you got?
So I personally just have a '04 Sierra right now that I'm in the process of turning into a show vehicle. But I've had an SRT Charger before. I've had a '99 Tahoe that I've done some stuff to. I was always into
Two-door?
racing.
Two-door Tahoe?
No, it was the four-door.
Ah,
Four-door. Yeah, two doors are hard to come by.
they are, man, in good shape.
Yeah, 99 two-door, that would be hard. Yeah, a lot of people are holding on to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I got to go check out this Hot Wheels, man. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah,
I love
she
watching the videos of the people like putting drill batteries and shit on her to make them like pop wheelies. So the kids are all around the yards.
She has a 20-volt battery. She has LED underglow lights. She has her own Facebook, man. Go check it out on Facebook.
Drop it. Let us know what it is for the listeners. What is it?
It's Lowrider Leia. Low kind of spelling. Rider is RYDER and Leia LEAH. You'll see her in a pink Mercedes.
We're looking it up right now.
Fantastic.
That's for Lowrider, right? Dumb.
What did you say the last name? What or the first Lowrider? What?
Leia LEAH.
Got it.
Bam! Look at that dude! Look at that thing! That is sick!
It is sick.
Oh my god!
Man, it's an expensive hobby, but it's something that it's a daddy-daughter thing that I absolutely love. She
I love
absolutely
it,
loves
man.
too, man. So I'm starting her off young.
Hey, but she's eating up the time with dad. And that's all that matters.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
That is so cool. I love it.
Big Lambo.
She's
got a trailer.
Yeah, so actually, the funny story is the trailer was actually built out of a bed frame. We took two rails of a bed frame, put them together, and welded it.
Yeah, I can see
Put a
that
piece
now.
of-
The L iron, yeah.
Yeah, put a piece of rebar underneath it as the axles. Got some wheels and
Just some
We just
lawnmower
redone-
wheels.
so just done the flooring in the house, and I had some extra hardwood flooring boards left over, and I just lapped those over top of each other, nailed them down, and man, there's a trailer.
Yeah, that is so awesome.
I love it. I love
I
it.
was thinking outside the box.
That's pretty cool.
Big body business. Whipping like a cutlass or whatever Kevin Gates said.
So,
Awesome.
what advice would you give someone aspiring to join the fire department? Somebody coming into the fire department that's
I
thinking
thought you
about
said
it.
expiring. I was like, you mean dying?
You say buying.
Breathe, my guy. Just breathe.
Ah,
Inspiring
to come in.
thing that I'm coming in.
yeah.
Don't get discouraged. They're going to run into some challenges that they're not ready to face, and just overcome it. Just try to overcome it as best as you can. There's going to be some times where it's going to get tough, but you always have a brother that you can always relate to, and it doesn't have to necessarily be in your department. I mean, I go out of town all the time, and I just went to Tennessee not too long ago, and I walked in those guys' fire station, and I feel like I was just at home. I feel like the brotherhood in the fire service is just something that you won't ever overcome, or you won't ever see anywhere else.
Means. What's one thing that you wish you knew before coming in that you do?
You're going to work around a lot of jackasses, so make sure your skin is tough
Amen.
from the get-go.
That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah. Big City Doug knows all about those guys. I mean, you work with
bro.
you got a big city, man. You got a big city. You work with a lot of people.
So I work for our county department. We just happen to be a large, wealthy county.
Had to throw wealthy in there. I mean, with that
mean,
large, not
hey.
or wealthy, I don't know that was relevant.
We ain't poor.
No, you're not.
No, Freddie works for the wealthiest department.
Shit.
That town or city or whatever you want to call it. Freddie was outside.
People like to say it, but we got plenty of money. We just
Oh yeah.
it's all The bean counters have it all tied up with this, that, and the third, but we ain't poor by no means. Oh, we don't have money for that. Yes, we do.
They get a Lego factory. Big city Doug.
Jay, can I go back and ask a question? Do y'all run EMS at your VFD?
So not at that one. I'm actually in 2 departments, actually.
Okay.
So not in one of them, but the other one I did.
Okay. And did you maintain like your cert? I mean, did you have an EMT? Did you have an MR?
I have MR.
Okay, I got you.
MR.
Very good. Very good. Adam, I had to know that.
No,
You know, and don't get me wrong, man. I love EMS. I love EMS crews, but I do not like running medical calls. I just
you're that diehard fire guy.
I'm a fire guy. I am a fire guy.
Okay.
I can empathize with that from back when I was in your exact same spot. I have a different appreciation. I talked about it a while back on an episode. After my first time being the one give oxygen and everything else and seeing O2 saturations improve and everything, I'm not saying I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm all for it, but I'm just saying it gave me a different appreciation for it.
Oh yeah.
But no, I can definitely sympathize with that statement about
And don't get me wrong, and I appreciate and I respect those guys to the fullest, and girls, of course. And I know there are some of them that'll crawl a hall with me, and I know some of them they won't even step foot close to a fire. But that's just something that's just not for me. You know, I don't have a problem with running a call, and even if my department that we don't run EMS calls, we still run cardiacs, and we always respond if it were requested. So, you know, I don't have a problem with running it if we're requested. But other than that, it's not something I'm just going to volunteer and say, oh, yeah, chest pays. I'm ready to go to that. That's not me.
So this is the reason why I love having someone else from North Carolina on, because with our folks that are from other parts of the country, they run a lot of fire medic programs. And so like Jay and I, we're used to a first responder with usually a county system coming in for the EMS piece of this. So the cool part about it is we don't own it, right? Like we supplement it, but we don't own that EMS piece. There are some different people. So that's why I said I can empathize a lot with that. So let me ask a follow-up question to just, you don't necessarily have to tell us where you work, but what do you do during the day? What is your regular profession? And if so, I'll wait on the other question that I had.
So I'm actually about to change. I'm going to go on the truck full time. I want to go ahead and start my career as an actual fireman. Right now, I work for East Carolina Fire Testing, and we service fire hydrants for ISOs and fire departments, career or volunteer. You know, we will come in, we will flow test your hydrants, we will paint them, we will replace them, do whatever we have to do. This is a general contractor for fire hydrants.
That's a lot of grunt. That's a lot of grunt work right there.
Do you have a machine that goes over top of it and spins and to clean it?
We no, not to clean it. Actually, we hand clean them. We hand clean them. We hand paint them and all.
Right? Yeah, it's all
we hand clean, we hand paint and everything. Of course, to the GPM classification of them.
Funny story. We ran a fire alarm. What did I work? Wednesday. We ran a fire alarm. I was in the right seat, and my driver. It's kind of always I shouldn't say always. I was taught by a very good officer, Chip Johnson, that if you're on a medical call, it doesn't matter what you're running. If you're the engineer, the officer, the driver, or the operator, whatever you call it in your department, and you have nothing to do, and you see a hydrant, there's no reason for you not to go flush that hydrant. Go flush the hydrant. So she did. She went and flushed her hydrant. I got back in the rig after we found out it was a false alarm, and she was like, "Wet fucking paint." Somebody had not long ago painted that hydrant, and her hands were silver. She was like,
"Who would have thought that they would have just painted it?"
Oh my God, it was just poor timing.
Well, was it a flow? Did you get a water flow on the sprinkler? Or was that
no?
Maybe what you did? You're doing some
no. Anyway, sorry to get off track there.
No. That's good. So here was my other question.
But you said you hand paint them. You don't have a cone that goes over it, spins, and paints them. You hand paint them also.
Hand paint them. Yep.
And color code them. I love it.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I was going to say, do y'all color code tops? Because we don't.
Oh, yeah.
All ours is all solid silver.
Yeah.
No, we got red, orange, green, blue for every Jeep in there.
Yeah, we don't do them.
That's
All ours is silver.
That's some ISO points. That's some North Carolina stuff right there, son.
Oh, yeah.
We're every point we can get kind of things. So my other question was why the type of TikTok profile, or I don't want to say profile, but why that kind of platform? Doug does funny fire department stuff. Adam does his seasoning stuff. I do cooking stuff. You're doing, funny fire jabs as well, kind of like Doug. But why that? Why the platform for that? For somebody who's so motivated on training and everything else, why that?
I feel like the biggest thing for first responders, not just firefighters, EMS, and police officers, is of course dark humor, and not so much of dark on my page because of course I don't want anyone in the citizen world to feel some type of way behind it. But I feel like the best way to cope with the type of situation is to laugh about it. And I feel like the only one that would actually understand that is the one that's out there actually running the calls as well. So, and I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. I feel like that's just something that you could all share. Like he said, the Chicago fire skit, of course, all firemen have seen it. So, of course, when they see that, it's like, oh, that's funny. Of course, just make somebody laugh, because you never know what that person's going through. They probably just had to go pull out a child from a house and they're down. And of course, they get on TikTok. The first thing they see is my ugly face, and it makes them laugh. So I feel like I've impacted that person even if I don't even know it.
Nice.
That's why I do what I do. I make stupid, mean things just because I think they're funny, and I hope that it makes somebody else laugh, and I hope somebody else has a chuckle behind it.
Well, I think the phrase I was going to say, I think the phrase of dark humor was appropriate, right? Because we all kind of need that. I don't care what division or role you are in the fire service, you need it, and it's kind of your ability. I want you to go back, if you don't mind, because I don't know that I really felt like I got the answer to the 5-year question. And then now that you said that you're entering into that new role, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I think what a lot of organizations, a lot of people do is they struggle between life, career, and volunteer fire service. It's a stretch to try to do all of those. And I know I could read your mind and say you would love to do all three, and you can say, I'm going to do all three. But how do you think you're going to do that roadmap? When you go back and listen to this 5 years from now, what is your roadmap to making sure that you can do that? Okay,
so to answer that question, I'm going to go off a little bit and actually give you a little bit more about my background. So I do a lot. It's not just volunteer firefighter. I am the GovOps coordinator for American Red Cross. So I'm the liaison officer. I am the liaison officer through EOC activations and American Red Cross for the Eastern North Carolina Division.
Love that.
That's fantastic.
I'm a volunteer firefighter for 2 different departments in 2 different counties. I also help out my county emergency services as well. So I'm in the fire marshal's office. Not to mention, I'm also a certified storm chaser and a storm spotter for the National Weather Service.
God dang.
It's a rap sheet that goes on and on and on, man. I can't tell you how much stuff that I've actually done. I've been through EMT course. I've been through BLET, basic law enforcement training. I've been all the way through it and decided this is not for me. I'm just going to be a fireman. So, of course, I know the law as well. So at the age of 24, I can't even tell you how much stuff that I've accomplished. And sometimes when someone asks me, what do I do and what all do I do? Sometimes I have to have my girlfriend to help me out. Like, what else do I do? Because I can't think of it all. I can't manage it all. So I guess you would say from 5 years from now, I'm going to try to be on the same track. I don't want to get burnt out because I know that is a thing. And I felt like I've been close to it before because I've always wanted to try to be Superman and say, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I love helping people. And my problem is I just can't say no. So 5 years from now, I hope I'm riding a truck, career staff, and I'm helping out the departments that we're going to be an asset to, and just keep on trucking. The only difference is I just will be on the truck full time rather than just one over the pager beeps.
Man,
I love that.
You're like an onion, man. Just
I don't think that'll be a problem for you if you drop the applications, I don't think that'll be a problem.
Yeah, you have what is called a good 4-letter word as a character trait, and that's grit. Okay, I can hear that just in the little bit of conversation that we've had.
The grind is real.
Yeah, to be able to do those things, to be able to have that kind of determination is what is needed to see it. I mean, I think it goes further than that. I think Doug would agree and Adam would agree that like when I don't know if the department you're going to has a rookie program. So whether you're going to be the guy, let me say this, you're going to be the guy that when you're done doing hose lays in orientation, whether that's a legit like formal program or whether it's just you're put in a station with somebody, you're going to be the guy that's the first guy to pick up the hose and be on the back of the truck putting it back. And that speaks volumes to people in the organization. And we've said it several times.
Spread a little information about the organization that we're going to. So what we're having now is there is the emergency services office. They cover emergency management, EMS, because we have a county-based EMS system and a the fire marshal's office as well. What emergency services is based in their own fire service. So basically, like I said, during the daytime, it's hard for volunteer departments to get a truck out. And if they do get a truck out, it's probably maybe 1 or 2 guys up there, which is really not sufficient to what you need. And we're busting out 4 departments during the daytime, even during the nighttime as well for any type of fire, anything structural related, even fire alarms. We're busting out 4 departments. And sometimes we're still struggling to get enough people on scene because you may have 6, 7 guys, which is a good turnout for one department, but you got to think about it. Those 6, 7 guys all have a role to play. And once that is done, now overhauls coming in, those guys are burnt out. So what the county fire marshal's office done was they went out and purchased an engine, and it's going to be the county's fire rescue. And fortunately, I've had the privilege to actually watch the truck come in, bone stock, not a single tool on it. And I've been piecing it together, helping out the deputy fire marshal, who's been in charge of it, the fire marshal as well, and some other staff that's up there at the emergency services office. And when we get that done, it'll be a county-based fire brigade, I guess you could say. So this will be an organization that will just be created this year.
And you'll run first due on all working fires and confirm pin in, stuff like that.
So what that truck is going to do is 8 to 5 is going to be staffed Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and they're going to be a support engine throughout the whole entire county. So it depends on second tone outs. They're going to be automatically dispatched. Pin ins, anything like that, we're going to be dispatched to. So it'll be just like, I guess you could say, not an elite engine. It'll just be an asset to wherever it may be needed, basically.
I got you. That's cool.
Flooding.
Do you have any train the trainer certs or anything like that?
Say it again.
Train the trainer certs, like teaching hazmat classes, like to get people certified. Do you have any of those certs?
No, I don't have any of those certs. I have been a part of plenty of different groups, I guess you could say. One big group that I'm a part of is Passion for the Craft. I'm sure you guys have heard of that one. Mm-hmm. I'm a part of that group, and I know a lot of guys from there. And what I do is I listen to podcasts all the time, like podcasts like this right here. I feel like, to me, that is a part of training as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be hands-on stuff all the time.
It doesn't have to be strategy and tactics all the time.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Because I feel like at that point, even from the comfort of my recliner in my living room, I'm training my mind. I'm giving myself a different mindset of how to do things. Mm-hmm. So, of course, when I learn how to do something, or when I learn something or hear something from a podcast, I would do it myself just to be sure that I'm comfortable with providing this to my department, and then turn around and actually start teaching it to my department as well. So that's where I guess you would say the training would come from.
I asked about train the trainer, courses because of Brian. He's always he's got a little side hustle that does training stuff. He's always
I got a side hustle on everything.
Yeah,
I got it. Like,
I'm a hustler, baby.
That's right.
I just want you to know.
And if I ain't got it, and you tell me that it's worth something, I'll get into it.
That's Newport News' own, or Tidewater's own, Pharrell Williams.
That's right.
Virginia Beach.
On that note, let me interject. Jay, I got a question. Serious question. This is a serious question. Is Snoop Dogg a top 10 rapper? That's very, very hot topic on this podcast. Is Snoop a top 10? Matt and I have polar opposite responses here. This is a heated thing for us.
While Jay thinks about
top
that,
10.
while he thinks, he's still thinking. I got a question for you. Why does he carry an umbrella? Yeah. Why does Snoop Dogg carry an umbrella?
For drizzle.
Faux drizzle.
Come on, dog.
I'm sorry.
Jokes.
I'm sorry. My kid dropped that on me today.
Idiot.
I guess that question would just be based off the person that you ask.
I'm asking you.
It's absolutely based on where you live, I think.
Yes, that I will say that as well.
It's absolutely geographical bias.
I'll agree with that.
Because between New York and Atlanta, I can give you 10 that dominate Snoop. Just from New York and Atlanta.
Rob Van Winkle, baby.
I ain't been to Memphis. I ain't been to St. Louis. I ain't been to Chicago. I ain't been nowhere but New York and Atlanta. Rob Van Winkle, shut up.
Man, Vanilla Ice, baby.
Vanilla Ice. Come on now.
Yeah, man. Shook him down.
So long story
Hardcore.
short, it's a no for you. Jay, that's a no for you, right?
I wouldn't say it's a no for me.
Oh,
I didn't say it was a no. That's playing it safe right there is what that's doing. He's
I'll
playing.
tell you what. Next episode, I'm going to have them wrote down. I'm going to list them off. And we will post it. And it will be the scientific list.
Well,
this has been fun.
Jay, you got any questions for us? I can't think of any more. Your TikTok handle is your TikTok. Your tickety tock is he_fights_fire, right? So we'll post it along with the information on this podcast and on our website, and we'll get it out there also. But any questions for us? Anybody else got some questions for him?
I got one thing with any question. I'll do it at the end.
We'll have to do a moment of silence after.
Well, that's going to tie into it. So
yeah.
But look, Jay, thank you for coming, man. I appreciate it. We talked a while back about getting back into doing a little more guesting and having people on to just talk and tell their stories and just, like you said, just share their mental outlook on things. That whatever Jay says might trigger somebody in Oklahoma that says, you know what, I never thought about that, man. Like,
right.
That's all we're trying to do, man. Like, and we talked about trying to get more people on to share their stories, their backgrounds, and their aspirations to hopefully help. If we help one, we won. You know what I mean? We've always said that if we help one person, we win. You know. So
you may have your story tonight about how you deal with training may have gave somebody the courage to just do that at training.
Yeah,
I want you to know that.
You might have helped Joe Schmuckatelli in Podunk, Iowa, say, "Hey, Chief, I got training this week," and he's like, "Well." But he shows up early and he gets it done. And Chief shows up and like, you know what? I kind of like this.
Right.
And that's a win. That's a win,
initiative.
Man.
Absolutely.
And if you reach one new young volunteer fireman and inspire him to be the next, whoever, you win.
Yeah. You still continue to train even after academy.
It never stops.
Yeah.
Never stops.
This is going to tie into what I'm talking about at the end, but it used to be posted in the fire engine at Company 1. You can never train enough for a job that can kill you. You can never train enough for a job that can kill you. That being said, it was posted in Chesterfield County Fire and EMS Engine 1. The captain of Fire Engine 1 year ago today, Jason Ware, died in a car crash on his way to work that morning. They had a walk for him yesterday, a memorial walk, and we're going to do it every year. I just want to let Wee Man's family and all his friends know, his wife Crystal and his beautiful daughter, that we won't forget him. We won't forget them. I say daughter, his kids. We will never forget them, and we will always be here for them. We will never let Wee Man's memory die, and that'll lead us into our moment of silence. If you don't mind, Brian, are you good with that?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
So let's do that.
Yep.
We love you, wee man. Always will, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, I know Adam's probably going to cover it, but I want to say thanks to everybody that did come up to the South Atlantic Fire Rescue Expo, came up and saw Adam and I at his booth, but just random people who just came and shared the love, told us about the podcast, said, hey, we're going to subscribe to the podcast. We really didn't know this existed. So what we would do is drop a comment for this week. We try to get engagement up. Drop a comment. Let us know whatever platform you're on, where you're listening from. We would love to know that. I don't know that we've called that question yet, at least since I've been on the podcast, but that would be cool to know where people are listening from. So, Adam, you want to share something about Safer or anything?
No, thanks for everybody who came out and everybody who was a part of it. It's our first year as Unkie Seasoning. Being that Safer, gosh, man, it was really great to see a lot of friends. Ryan definitely is one of them. He's one of my best friends. Seeing Wes brought all the vendors, Taylor from Taylor's 10 and Lucas and Chris down in Box 31 and, the guys at BA Shields.
Frank.
What?
Yeah, Frank Viscasco.
Oh, yeah,
I can't
Frank.
say his name.
Viscuso.
Yeah,
Viscasco, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't on that podcast, that episode, but both of us introduced ourselves to him and chit-chatted with him for a bit. He was a super nice guy. Man, it was just, like I said, it was great to see old friends and new friends and finally put a face of all these people that Brian puts me in touch with. It was pretty cool. And we had a blast. Me and Brian had a great first date. I'll just leave it at that.
Don't go to dinner with Adam by yourself. I'm just going to say that. You'll get as red as the brim on my hat.
And then stupid hurricane just ruined nothing.
Doug's been out with me already, so.
The stupid hurricane only ruined my softball tournament.
Doug, have you been out with Adam by yourself?
Not so. Well, no, not solo.
Okay, solo.
I was with Matt and his wife.
Okay, thank you.
He did come over my house.
Okay.
I did come to his house.
I'm just saying, we were unloading, right? And I'm like, got my collared shirt on. I'm with my presidential gig and everything. And he's like, dude, it's so awesome to be here. Let's hold hands. And I'm like, we are not holding hands.
I didn't say it, hold hands. I was just starting holding him.
You just got to walk up behind him and go, you smell different when you sleep.
I was like, man, we can't do that here. I know too many people.
I know too many. Take that one to the station, Jay.
It was just
different when you
fantastic. Dinner was the best. So yes. I'll leave it at that.
And I got to meet Adam's parents, which Papa and Nana Mac are just amazing, amazing people. And to hear them, especially Nana Mac, not saying the Papa Mac wasn't, but I loved her, son. Adam has talked all the time about being the closer, son. She was out on the aisle side, she was like, you ever heard of the zip line? Well, she was the reverse of that. She was just bringing people right into the booth, son, and, getting them to seal
I will confirm that. She talked my girlfriend into buying a bulk package. We will be ordering a bulk package here soon. We have to sit down and figure out what seasonings, what flavors we want. And she really stuck out to her.
Shout out Mama Mac.
She said that that woman is a really good salesperson.
They're all great. I made boiled peanuts today with Elizabeth salt and the Coastal Cajun, and they were great. I wish I'd done twice as much seasoning. In hindsight, I probably should have put that in the last video because they're not as salty as I like them. I wish I'd done more.
You think you could have gone with?
I guess speaks to how.
I don't want
to say low sodium, but like not crazy sodium.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not intended to be that way. I wonder if you could do it. My recipe mine's going in my brain because I always do green peanuts every fall.
I wish I'd done 2 cups instead of 1. But the flavor's good. They're just not as salty as I'd like them.
I gotta say I was very, very happy. On Saturday I got to meet one of Adam's coworkers. Help me out, Adam. His name just left me.
Steven.
No.
Oh, you talking about Jim?
Jim. I was going to say Jim, and I was like,
he met Jim Hadlett, Doug.
Oh, that Jim.
Yeah.
That Jim.
Because he lives down there. He lives in roughly Nashville or Rocky Mount. Just put it that way.
So I met him, and then while we were chatting, I had several people that the line was so long at Adam's booth, and every time they kept trying to come up, there were so many people that they were like, hey, Brian, can we just get our packs? Like, we want the 5-pack from Adam. So Adam's over there running cards, and I'm packing a 5-pack, and all these different people. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody that I know that came up to me, whether they asked for the side hookup on the side. I mean, they paid full price. They didn't, not like they didn't get it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it was such a long line. Thank you guys so much for supporting Adam and Unkies, because that's what allows him to be a sponsor on this podcast and to do so much for so many. And I mean, so many people who just weren't even interested in seasoning bought stickers for the Ryan Project. I mean, everybody who came by, I won't say everybody, but most who came by were supporting Unkie Seasoning and the Ryan Project in some way or another. So with that, hey, Jay, the tradition is whenever we have a guest on, there's a line that we have at the end of our podcast, if you've never heard it. But Freddie's daughter does the outro, and her name is Gigi. And so you have to say, roll it, Gigi, in your best voice. Can you do that?
In my best voice?
Yeah, like in your TikTok voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know you got a TikTok voice.
I don't, man. I just give it to him straight.
Well, then give me like your best radio voice.
Calm, cool, and collect is what my radio voice is. But I guess you would just say, roll it, GG.
Roll it, GG!
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!